I rather enjoy the X-Men movies. I think some of the recent ones have been exceptional. Days of Future Past is probably my favourite of the X-Men movies. I think it's just wonderful. And Apocalypse was okay, but it's starting to slide down. And when Dark Phoenix arrived in the cinemas, I was put off. It was something that I was struggling to find the time to go and see. It wasn't on many showings, and it seemed to disappear exceptionally fast for an X-Men movie. I mean, this is a big kind of blockbuster thing with an A-grade cast. But it was the critics' reviews. It was people talking about the movie negatively that kind of puts a seed in your brain. And it's funny how, even though you may not put much credence into other people's views because you want to take your own opinion onto a movie, as you should, sometimes you can just be dissuaded enough to not go and check something out. That happened with me with Dark Phoenix, and I kind of regret it because I've seen every X-Men movie in the cinema and I wanted to keep that run going, but like I said, it disappeared way too quickly from the cinema. And this is a retread of X-Men 3, The Last Stand storyline. The Phoenix, Jean Grey, is infected with an entity in space that makes her powers exponentially grow to a level where she can barely control them. She can't stop herself from harming other people. And it's an interesting plot point. We get to this superhuman X-Man who has powers that far outweigh any of the other X-Men. How are they going to stop a friend? How are they going to control this without harming anybody? It's an interesting idea for a story. I can understand why they went back to the well for this one, because it's an interesting emotional tale that's not just about Flash and that. It gives you a villain who was once a hero, someone that you've known in the previous movies and you hope can come good again. It gives you a complicated villainess, so to speak, the kind of ones that really resonate. We've had it with Magneto. He's never been the out-and-out antagonist all the time, but he's always been a duplicitous character. He's stuck between what he believes is right and how he's been wronged and how he's going to rectify that, and how it's not all about the compassion that Xavier has. But the problem is that movies doesn't really tackle these emotional cores. It doesn't really resonate with you for some reason, and it could be part of the comic lines. I don't know. They throw in aliens into this that just feels a little bit odd, not really a good driving force. It kind of puts an evil antagonist into the movie, which I don't think you really need. You know, you want that the character who is complicated, who is both villainous and heroic and can't control the elements. That gives it more of an emotional core. We don't really get that with this, and what we end up getting is a series of set pieces that literally mean nothing. They may be entertaining, they may be flashy and good to look at, but they don't offer anything at all. They don't change the characters around. We get one scene where a character is killed off and it feels like it should have more of an impact than it actually does, because this is a character that's been throughout the series for a while, but it just doesn't have that gut punch that it probably should have. One of the key, most important characters I feel in the X-Men franchise is Magneto, and I think Fassbender has been the draw for me in these X-Men movies, because I think his portrayal of this character has been nothing less than masterful. I think it's been exceptional and one of my best sort of villain come hero characters that I think I've ever seen portrayed. And he's sidelined here, which is a huge mistake. This should be based around that character and his ideals and his battle with Xavier, but it's not. He's kind of marginalised and becomes just another cog in this rather messy wheel. That's not to say that Dark Phoenix doesn't completely work. It's just not to the level of the other X-Men movies. On that front, I suppose you could call it a failure. I still enjoyed aspects of it. I liked the way it looked. I liked getting back into these characters, seeing some of them, and I liked some of the special effects, and the exciting train action at the end was fun. But it meant nothing to me. It was something that just played in front of my eyes, and once it was done, I can forget about it. I don't have to go back and think about it. It's not going to be one of those movies where I go, wow, I can't wait to watch Dark Phoenix again. It's just not going to happen. Maybe at some point in the future, if it's on TV, I might watch it, but I could see me watching a couple of action scenes, getting to a couple of the talky parts and just changing channel, forgetting all about it. And Dark Phoenix was okay. in the echelon of X-Men movies, it's near the lower half of those movies. Not great, a little bit disappointing, and hopefully we can move on to more stories with these characters that are a little bit more engaged, a little bit more of an emotional core, and stuff that actually lasts with you after you leave the cinema. I'd love to know your thoughts on Dark Phoenix. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man vs. Film.